Hey Maracuya, happy Monday. I wanted to speak today about teamwork, organization, and looking at things factually. I think there's a lot of misnomers about manifestation and law of attraction where it's like, oh, if you just sit around and think happy thoughts, then everything will work out. And I think it can. It really can, especially if your idea of happiness is like a simple life and is, just having freedom to do the things you want and being there for the people that you care about, and if it's a fairly simple goal. But if your goal is to be like a multimillionaire, just sitting around thinking happy thoughts is not probably the easiest way to make that happen. It's probably easier if you get a team together. And they talk about there's a few different studies that I'm not gonna quote accurately at all, but one is like you are the outcome of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Another one is opportunities often come from outside of your immediate circle. So rather than it being the coworker you see every single day, or your partner, or your sister-in-law that you hang out with all the time, it's gonna be your coworker's brother or your bandmate's colleague, or you went to a party and you did have a mutual friend, and through this random person X, Y, and Z happen. I think this is why sometimes they say that people who drink, who socialize, who like go out to bars and expand their contacts wind up having a better time lining up business deals. But it's like a combination of, you are going to take on the mindsets and the habits of the people that you're most often around. You can look at people who look incredibly fit. They tend to hang out together. People who have a lot of tattoos, they hang out together. People who are really overweight, they hang out together. It's people who are dog people maybe spend more time with their dogs, and therefore other dog people more than cat people who their cats are inside. It's not as much a thing. Get up there. I'm hanging out outside here because the doggos aren't allowed in the thrift shop. And this is a nice shady spot. Anyway, so I think it's a balance between living in the wish fulfilled and having your mindset on anything is possible. You are the creator of your reality. Your mindset and your beliefs are sculpting what's possible for you. And also looking at your habits, your patterns, things that you've done, and taking stock. Was it a success? Was it a failure? And I guess success and failure are words that have a lot of impact to them, but you could just look at it as like, was this something that went off without a hitch? It totally exceeded my expectations? Or were there some challenges along the way? Did I wind up not making a profit on something I thought was a business opportunity? Did I wind up losing money on that? Okay, what's a lesson to be learned that can be applied to something else? And just trying to find a team of people who have done what it is that you're trying to do. And I think sometimes that can be challenging. If what you want to do is be a multimillionaire and you don't know any multimillionaires, then you may need to watch a documentary or read a book or sign up for a course where you can get around them on Zoom. But however you can, try to kind of inject yourself in that. I'm right now looking at really lofty goals and pairing those with a schedule, a timeline, which it's wild. As soon as something is a deadline on paper, it seems like time accelerates and it's here before you know it. So I think it's important to not fall into self-criticism or judgment, and to also not be influenced by what other people think is possible. And that's why some people say, keep your ideas to yourself until they're fully formed. Because, you can tell your buddy, hey, I'm going to go to the casino and I'm going to win $1,000. And what does that do for you? Now they're going to have judgment and their own agenda that they attribute to it. It's messing up your vibration. You get that little dopamine hit of being like, ooh, I told him I was going to win $1,000 at the casino. And then what happens if you don't win? It's so much more powerful to have that intention, be like, I'm going to go to the casino and I'm going to win $1,000. And please, if you have a gambling problem, reach out for help and like set limits and blah, blah, blah. But if you go and then you win $1,000 and then you can tell your friends later, isn't that way more better? Way more better. That's way better. It's way more potent. And same thing if maybe you don't even have to tell them. Maybe you could just take your friends, you could go out with your buddies, get appetizer somewhere and just pick up the tab. And people will be like, whoa, that's really generous. And you'd be like, yeah, actually, I won some money at the casino. That's way cooler than telling people what you're gonna go get and what you're gonna go manifest. And I think you also will find that when people don't share your vision or share your beliefs, it can feel very like you want to defend your position, and it can be discouraging. And then you are also doubting, which most of this manifestation game is staying in a positive mindset, having faith, having trust, allowing it to be the way it's going to be, right? So anyway, all that to be said, try thinking about who you're spending most time with. Look at what your goals are. Look at how you've been trying to approach them. And if there's any way to be more logical about, this is what I want, this is how I aim to get it, here are other people who have already done it, this is how I'm learning, this is how I'm teaching, and then keep your big dreams to your damn self until they're fully formed. These guys are insane. Big love, over and out. Thanks for liking, subscribing, sharing.